All right, well, let's get started. I think everybody's here. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. We got people from all around the country here. Let me introduce our team. I'm joined by my colleague Darlene Fukuji, who is the Associate Director of our Fred Kiesner Center for Entrepreneurship at Loyola Marymount University. And we've got several folks from the Foolproof team, Drew Guthrie, Tyler Rice, and Michael Sheffer. So, this was a vision that started really in 2015, and I had just moved to Los Angeles from Kentucky, and we had a professor, a really special professor in our entrepreneurship program named Paul Orfala, who is the founder of Kinko's and comes in and teaches classes at several universities around Southern California. He had been expressing frustration about the lack of financial literacy on college campuses. And so we started brainstorming, like, what could we do to educate students about budgeting and saving and other things that were just life skills that were not being taught prior to college. And then we kind of realized that, by the time students get to college, that might be a little too late. And so we put our heads together and we decided, why not teach high school students, but train college students on teaching the high school students. And this thought came out because I believe in this philosophy of teach to learn. And when you teach something, you learn it twice. And we had been doing this already in our entrepreneurship program with our intro to entrepreneurship class, sending students out to a local high school to help 8th graders and 9th graders start their businesses as part of our curriculum in our Fred Kiesner Center. And we thought, let's expand that into our financial literacy program, because learning about some of this stuff about budgeting and saving and debt and credit when you're 16 years old can be a little cumbersome, and they may not always see the relevance of the subject matter. And I'm a product of that. I'm the son of a finance professor, and I never took an interest in finance until I got into my late 20s, and I got in all sorts of credit card trouble myself when I was in college and made mistakes and that sort of thing. So had I had a near peer mentor, somebody who was just a couple years ahead of me, who was going through it and learning how to live on their own and learning how to budget, maybe I would have taken some of the things that my dad was telling me a little bit more seriously, right? So our idea was, let's have the college students be the instructors. So we kicked off in 2015. Just go back, Darlene. We kicked off in 2015. The flyer here is from our camp in 2017, and we just launched it as a summer camp. It was just meant to be a fun, kind of a 3 or 4 day program, and we hired 6 or 7 students to teach different modules that we created ourselves. Now that program took off. It became really, really popular. There's a clip here that I'd like to share with you from ABC News. Came in and did a special on it, and you can get a glimpse of what the program was like.
Look around this room and you see the future. High school students focused on personal finances.
Did you know about credit card debt?
Yes, but not enough.
Kids from 47 LA area schools are spending a week learning about budgeting, debt, retirement, even how to read credit card statements at LMU's 4th annual Financial Literacy Boot Camp.
My mom also told me that the things I'd be learning in here are just really, really important that she didn't know until a lot later.
And this program is taught by LMU business students like Matthew Tejada, who opened his own ice cream truck in high school.
I'd be worried about my own generation and the one behind us, just because this is kind of stuff that needs to be taught in high school, and it's not.
The kids aren't looking at parent figures telling them how to manage money. They're hearing from older kids who are able to really relate. And all of a sudden, the aha moments that these kids are having as they learn about those concepts.
Especially in today's financial climate. A recent TD Ameritrade online survey of more than 1,500 millennials found that 50% have credit card debt, 36% have student loan debt, 40% car loan debt, and on average, they expect to retire by 56. These LMU students also take their lesson plans to local middle and high schools throughout the year.
Whether that be about the stock market or something simple such as budgeting or savings or how to buy a car.
Now I understand more.
A lot of times people say money is power, but in reality, how do you get that money? With knowledge.
A lesson Tejada says parents can start teaching their kids now.
Just saving just a couple bucks a week, just simply starting that when they were in middle school. And if they can learn just how to budget at a very early age.
There are 2 more financial literacy boot camps left this summer here at LMU. They do fill up fast, but there's also a wait list. For more information, just go to lmu.edu/save-it-forward.
We got to a point where we had a waiting list, and our campus, we're in a very beautiful part of LA. We got a nice ocean view, but LA is a huge place, and it was becoming very, very difficult for students to get to campus, and providing transportation. And our goal with the Save It Forward mantra, we wanted to teach as many students as possible in the community. And our other philosophy was, for every student that we taught, we wanted them to teach somebody else as well, right? So I'll get into that in a little bit. But we were trying to think about how can we scale this program. We've got a lot of students that are at LMU that are eager to teach and be a part of it, but we had a capacity issue. We had a waiting list. And so thanks to the fortune of traveling, our dean, Dr. Dale Smith, happened to be on a plane with Ramar from the Foolproof Foundation and struck up a friendship, and learned a little bit about a financial literacy program that could be that solution to scaling our program. And so, we started collaborating pre-pandemic on designing a program that was going to be hybrid, that was going to leverage technology and the virtual environment that we're all in right now, and mix that with our campus experience so that we could expand from educating hundreds of students every year to thousands of students every year. And Foolproof turned out to be the ideal partner for that challenge that we were facing. And partly because the content on Foolproof was superior to anything we had seen. It had integrity. We were teaching financial literacy not so that students learn how to get rich fast or anything like that. We want students to be healthy skeptics. We want them to be aware of scams. We want them to delay gratification. We have certain values, and also as an entrepreneurship program, you might find financial literacy to be an odd topic. But the truth of the matter is, most entrepreneurship programs are teaching students how to raise venture capital funding, when less than 1% of entrepreneurs actually raise VC funding. And most entrepreneurs have to bootstrap. They have to start a business from their savings, or they have to stretch a dollar, and they have to learn how to budget their life so that they can build a business and express their creativity. So for us, it actually made perfect sense to teach financial literacy as part of our program. And we just loved the ethos and the values that Foolproof brought. Now their content with the videos, the short videos, and the peer-to-peer learning also was a strong fit, because that is what we do as well. We don't have the senior professors and older successful entrepreneurs do all the teaching. We bring them in at some points of the program, but for the most part, our college students were highly engaging when in the classroom. They came up with creative games and activities that we would never have come up with ourselves. And so, since day one, our program has embodied that type of instruction and that type of education. And so it just made sense that Foolproof was a partner, because they also believed in similar things. Their platform, being virtual, made it very quick for us to adapt. And we trained in the first summer, we had 10 instructors, and Mike Sheffer, who you hear from the Foolproof team, came in and trained them on the platform, how to use it, but also how to be leaders and how to be teachers. All right. So our program kind of evolved from our college students being the instructors to being more of almost like a management training program, how to lead a team in a virtual environment, which is a very important skill in this day and age, as we've seen in the last year. So right before COVID, we were getting everything ready to go, and then everything got shut down in 2020 in March. And we thought about it, and we said, you know what? Everything's being canceled right now. Let's keep our program going. Let's launch it during the pandemic as a total virtual program. We can't access campus, but let's just do it all virtual. And it worked. It actually really worked well. We brought in guest speakers that were YouTube stars that came in and did seminars with the kids that were highly relatable. We put kids on teams with our mentors. The mentors were given incentives, and the students were given incentives. And by the way, we don't call students in our program, we call them savers, because we're trying to make this, the Saver Forward program as least like school as possible. We want to make this more like life and more like, you know, a team bonding and a community village type environment. So we have fun prizes at the end of the program where our savers, as they accomplish different things in the program, whether it's scoring, you know, over 70% or 80% on the end of module test, or you know, showing up to all their meetings, or making a TikTok video or a meme to share what they learned that week. And you know, we give them points, and at the end of the program, those points turn into things like Dodgers tickets and Disney tickets and movie tickets and gift cards and other fun things that various alumni and community partners have donated to the program. So that's a little bit about how it works on our end. I'd like to talk about some of the benefits that we've seen in this program. You know, first of all, it's really allowed LMU to interact even more closely with our community, with the amazing organizations in our backyard, you know, partnerships that we've made to help bring in more youth that can benefit from financial literacy. We've engaged our alumni. I can't tell you how many alumni, after hearing about this program, reached out to us over LinkedIn or other social media saying, how can I help? How can I get involved? During the pandemic, I was making videos of people that we've never met, who wanted to share positive words of encouragement with our savers and say, I think it's so cool that you're spending your summer vacation as a 16-year-old kid learning about financial literacy, and you're not getting a grade for it. You're doing it on your own. And we made these cool videos. So many of our alumni just got behind this program and wanted to help. So in terms of like alumni engagement and fundraising opportunities, this type of program has been just a huge breath of fresh air for us at LMU. Our students that are in it from LMU learn leadership skills. They learn how to be mentors. They give back. A lot of our students are first generation college students. We partnered with the McNair Scholars Program to recruit students outside of the College of Business, but students that have an aspiration to go to grad school and want to be teachers in many cases. And they're getting put in an environment where they learn leadership skills very quickly, and they learn how to foster the youth. And then last, you know, as a business school, if you look at the new standards, standard 9 on engagement and societal impact for accreditation has become very, very important. And so our dean actually shared that with us because we're getting ready for reaccreditation. And she said, this is going to be a great story for LMU as we go up for accreditation in 2 years. So it's a huge win in, you know, many different areas. So I can't speak more highly. I volunteer to be a part of this program. It's not actually part of my title. This is a labor of love that Darlene and I have both joined in on for several years. And it's just such a blast because the students that we work with have energy, have creativity, have passion. And, you know, at least for me personally, it gave me purpose during the pandemic, during the lockdown, when we launched this program. It was one of the best things, one of the best experiences that I had. So I am just ecstatic to share it with all of you. And it would be a dream come true to see this start to show up in different parts of the country, and maybe take a road trip to meet all of you in person and Save It Forward in your communities. So I'm going to pass it over to our Foolproof friends to continue on.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Mike Sheffer. I'm the Director of Education for Foolproof. I taught in New York State for 32 years, was teacher 1 with Foolproof. So we love to see the growth of Foolproof with our great team. So just to give you an idea what my role was in this, go back to what Jason said, that we were all set to kick it off in LA, and I was all excited to go to LMU, and the pandemic hit, and we used a phrase, we were building the airplane while we were flying it during that process of creating, you know, the program for the students in LA. But the cool thing about my role with this is that to be able to work with these young people, the mentors, that it was a favorite part of my summer. I do all the professional development for Foolproof around the country. And sometimes teachers aren't the greatest in a professional development. I always told the mentors, I said, wow, you guys get it. I mean, it was just so much fun to be around them and to teach them the Foolproof platform. And the other cool thing too is that we had office hours every week. So we were talking about learning strategies. You know, I was a mentor for first year teachers my whole career. It was just a great experience going through. So the Foolproof Curriculum, and Jason did a great job explaining it, is entirely peer-to-peer. We're talking to students, not at students. Everything that we're going to do is healthy skepticism, being a critical thinker. Everything in our modules and our assignments and activities are involved in that process. It's all turnkey and customizable. Here's an example. We looked at the length of Save It Forward with LMU, and we are able to customize a curriculum by talking to Jason and Darlene and the mentors going forward. Everything in Foolproof is turnkey. The mentors did a great job setting up the lessons going into the process. We did the Teach to Learn. They created unbelievable PowerPoints. They actually taught their fellow mentors on the modules that they were responsible for. Just a great thing that we did. But once the students were on the modules, it's totally turnkey, and the mentors are just checking in with their savers. And then in the last part is we're the only financial literacy curriculum endorsed by the 4 major consumer groups. No one else can say that. And the reason being is, number one, we do healthy skepticism, rely on research, and of course we do critical thinking. And number two, we're not bound by anyone's money. We're true consumer advocates, that independent resource that allows us to tell the truth, to give these kids the best that we can give them. Next slide, please. So the whole idea in this process is that, you know, first of all, you get the Foolproof's online platform. Everything that we have, you know, goes to your university or college. Of course, we have a full program playbook that's available to give to universities that partner with Foolproof. It's from A to Z on how the process works. And then, of course, we do all the training of your mentors, all the process of getting them onboarded. We actually take a period of time, and it all depends on how many returning mentors. Like at LMU, we had some returners, so it was just a refresher. But the new mentors, we treat them as students first, so they see the platform, and then they go into the process of seeing the platform, and then we actually turn them over and create teacher accounts for them. So in the process, they get all the bells and whistles from the back end of Foolproof, the grading, the progress checks, and all those things. And that's all, of course, in the playbook. You know, the one thing that always works is we've had so much interest of what we're doing now in financial literacy and other ways to be able to put it out into communities. And the one thing that's really happening is, and I know, you know, there's going to be some talk about this, is that the process is the kids are bringing it back to their households. And that's really, really important to me and Foolproof in that process, because most education is trickle down. We like that whole trickle up process, and Save It Forward allows us to have that.
My name is Darlene Fukuji. I've been on the ground floor with the financial literacy program, the Save It Forward program. And you know, one of the reasons why I really got behind this was to break cycles of poverty. I don't know if in a lot of your cities, you're just seeing the homeless count go up and people just struggling to make it day by day. And I thought, well, this is a very proactive approach to breaking those cycles of poverty and empowering people to reach their short-term and long-term goals. And, you know, we wanted to bring up the mentors, our Lmu Student Mentor. This could be someone at your institution who is a near-peer mentor. So I want to bring up Odu to just say a few words, but there's a video here that I'll show before bringing Odu up. This was actually one of Odu's students, Miracle, who is this is a private link, and it is a foster youth, and she really was empowered by this, and she was one of the students to go up to her parent and guardian and say, hey, you know, we need to be saving money. What's your credit score? You know, asking all the questions that Odu had asked them the day before. So
hello, I want to thank Loyola Marymount University for sponsoring this free financial literacy class for ESC students just like myself. Specifically, I want to thank Odu and Hallie, our amazing instructors. You just made the whole process fun and enjoyable for me. I I'm so grateful that I was able to learn some helpful spending habits that I get to use in the future. Also, I wanted to thank the amazing co-directors, Darlene Fukiji and Jason DeMello, for just making this whole process just fun and enjoyable for me. Lastly, I would like to thank Dean Smith for your amazing advice, and you're just able to help me be more conscious about the money I spend. And yeah, again, thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Odawachi. I'm a senior at Loyola Marymount University. And I joined the Foolproof Save It Forward initiative in my sophomore year. I heard about it back when we were still on campus, and I heard about it through Dr. DeMello's class. It was my first entrepreneurship class that I had. And immediately when I heard about it, my ears pricked up. My background, I've always been one with a leaning towards financial wellness as a concept. I picked it up, just different skills, different habits from my mother and from my grandfather. And so I had that background knowledge. And when I was in high school, I saw that so many of my peers didn't. And at the same time, there was so much more that I didn't know that I wish I did know. But sometimes it's hard to figure out which direction to go and how to start that process, right? And so, you know, it was only until college and until taking this program, leading people through it, leading younger people through it, that I was able to reinforce some of these concepts for myself and learn about some things that I didn't know about as well. Um, so it was good for me in that sense, but the real value for me came from being able to pass this knowledge on to the younger people. Um, because for me, knowing how important it was to understand these topics for myself earlier on, and knowing how so many of my peers don't understand these topics and don't know about these topics, and being aware of the fact that people never learn these topics and then they grow into their 30s and 40s struggling financially. It's something that I wanted to um, take a part of and try and prevent for people in my generation, as being, amongst the older of Generation Z. And my first year, I thought I had a pretty successful run. And I decided to come back the second time around, of course. And the second time around, I worked with EST, the Black College Stores program. And that experience was a lot more valuable for me. We worked with more kids. So I started with, I think, 7 my first year. But this time I paired with another student, another mentor, and we served, I believe, 24 this time. So overall, for me, it's been a really enriching experience. And now I've come back in a leadership position. I'm working with a team of peers as a student administrator. So now we're working on outreach efforts and recruitment to try and get more students for the program and to reach out and create opportunities with different partnerships and things like that. So I've been here for going on 3 years now, so I love it.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Odu. Odu is one of our top instructors who really is creative with his approaches and is always pivoting and adjusting along the way. I want to be mindful of time, but wanted to also, just say like next steps. Maybe this resonated with you and wanted to learn more about it. We're going to take on 4 universities at this time to kind of mentor and walk through the process. And I hope you could see that this is more than just the rote financial literacy program. We're teaching life skills and healthy skepticism and good habits and decision making, so that, as our world changes, our next generation is more equipped to do their research, to use fact-based research, and to have that healthy skepticism, as Foolproof always preaches about, which is why we got behind them. And more than happy to answer any questions. This program is really flexible, so I'm more than happy to also talk one-on-one, because every university is so different. And with that, I'd like to open it up to any questions, and just thank you for being here, and thank you for your interest in investing in the next generation as well.
I'll also add that Odoachi was our Entrepreneur Student of the Year last year, and he's shown some interest in this ed tech space as well. But yeah, thanks for joining early in the morning. I know you have to jump off and go to class, and but yeah, if anybody has any questions for our team, would love to field some. And thanks again for joining. Thanks for being a part of this. Yeah, that's a great question. Assessment's a huge part of any educational program to see if learning outcomes are being met. I know that the Foolproof folks have some great data on the successful outcomes on the platform. Would you guys like to share some of those?
So on the platform, just to give you an example, if you're in a 8-week program and we decide as a group, yours and ours, we're going to do 8 modules. So each module has a pre and a post test. So the pre-tests are embedded in the first couple slides of the modules on topics that are going to occur during the module. And then, 3 to 5 questions just to get a baseline. And then the post test is a lot more encompassing. It's, there's a lot of rigor and relevance to it. The nice thing about the back end of the Foolproof platform, so for your mentors, they get the results right away of the pre-test. And as soon as students, there's a back end of Foolproof that can track the progress of the students. And when they successfully pass the post-test, those numbers are sent right to the Savers class. So the mentor can click on and see all the activity of the Saver, but also the standard learning objective is measured. So Jason and I and Darlene would meet once a week outside of the office hours, and we would actually check the standard learning increase or decrease objective base for each student. So the nice thing is we're able to be able to go through that process and take a look at it. Just to give you the numbers of Foolproof through the 2020-2021 school year, because we do it at the end, in Foolproof for high schools, we had a 32.7% increase of standard learning objective, increase in knowledge. And when we compared it to LMU in the last 2 summers, they were right around anywhere from 28.8 to 34.7 in the process as well over the two summers. So that information is available in real time. So everybody gets to see it. And then we also have a way that I, as the mentor of the mentors, and Jason and Darlene, can actually look into the mentor's class. There's an icon, it's called share, and we can actually look in. So if a mentor has a question on a student's movement, activity, or anything else, I can go in and take a look as well. And it's very seamless. And this summer, I was in Amelia Island, Florida, and we were running a program in California. It's just real easy to be able to implement. But that's, again, there's a lot to the back end of Foolproof, but that's pretty much in that question that you had.
Really, the next step is a one-on-one conversation, because we want to hear about your university and your plans. We have a full playbook that was mentioned during the presentation that was co-authored by the LMU team and Foolproof. That is truly a step-by-step process, how to engage your alumni, how to recruit your student mentors. We take you through all of those ins and outs. We want to make sure that you have a full picture of what exactly this entails, and our ultimate goal is for you to have a successful program. So we would love to have follow-up conversations with any of you, and through those we can take a deep dive into the Foolproof platform, so you all can see what the back end of the program looks like, where you have live student monitoring, where the mentors can really monitor their savers. And then also from the school administrative side, you can monitor both the mentors and the savers as well. So there's a lot of great administrative features that truly makes this as turnkey as possible from a platform perspective. We did get one question about the commitment and the cost. The only commitment is one term. We don't make you sign a multi-year agreement. Again, our goal is to make sure that this program works. So if we need to do a pilot at your school for one term, we can absolutely set that up. Because this is such a labor-intensive process, for a full three-term year where we do a summer program, fall and spring, is a $30,000 commitment to the Foolproof platform. If you're just looking for a one term, that is $12,000. And again, we can discuss any kind of additional costs, such as paying your interns, paying your mentors, making sure that you have a full picture on all of what goes into a successful program. So I don't know if anyone else from our team has anything to add, but that's the long and the short of it.
Yeah, I'll just add that getting started, we started with 4 instructors and a room of like 13 students to begin with, and it just kept growing and growing. So, and we've seen other people already have another group in place that they wanted to partner with. So maybe your university already partners with a community center or another school, and that really makes it easy to implement the financial literacy program within there. So we've kind of tried it all, and there's still more that we're trying because education keeps changing, and Foolproof's platform is flexible enough to meet those needs. You talk about online, hybrid, in person. We have ideas about that in which are also in the playbook too. I mean, Upward Bound, we have a chapter here at LMU, and actually we're collaborating with Upward Bound, and then we got connected more with the McNair Scholars. And you may have McNair Scholars at your university. It's a Department of Education, a federal program. We can go more into that, but yeah, we love Upward Bound. I'm not sure about Talent Search. But there are government grants that fit nicely within this. And I think McNair Scholars are a good example of that model.
And we're also sensitive to some of the budget challenges that universities are having. So, we've actually, in our playbook, we've shared some strategies that we've used to fund our own program and to help cover the license fee with Foolproof, but also it's important to us to pay our mentors, that they're not volunteering. Some schools may want to have mentors that are volunteer based. For us, it's expensive to live in LA, and we're teaching financial literacy, so we like to pay them and give them some capital that they can save it forward for themselves too. So we've received a couple grants that allow us to pay our mentors. We've partnered with programs that internally on campus that allow us to have some funding towards them with our internship program. Our career and professional development service has an internship fund. We work with work study. So there's other ways to kind of navigate ways to pay students, but we understand that everybody's trying to figure it out because this has been a challenging couple years. And but what we do see is that in terms of fundraising opportunities, financial literacy is an area that a lot of alums want to help out with. And I can tell you too, from my father's university, Western Michigan University, they received a really generous donation from an alum specifically for this reason, to help fund financial literacy education. So and that came unsolicited. That the alum approached the university to create something. So kind of similar to our story about Paul Orfila reaching out to us about wanting to start something with financial literacy. So anyway, there's a lot more information online, and I hope that if there aren't any more questions, I hope that you get a chance to connect with the Foolproof team. As somebody who works in academic space, I'll tell you that it's just been such a joy. Every time we have a meeting with Tyler and Drew and Mike, I leave with a smile on my face, because they're such a great group of caring and thoughtful educators that are helping advance learning into the kind of this new era of this virtual environment and using technology, but also just doing things the right way. So we're just really proud to be working with them, and we hope to partner with all of you someday.